What is evolution? Is it science, or is it actually a system of belief? Let's explore this question. Good day, everyone. Before answering the question if evolution is science or just a system of belief, we need to understand what is evolution. When we're talking about evolution on this channel, we're not specifically referring to biological evolution or evolution of species using natural selection or by natural selection. We are referring to an umbrella of ideas, a series of claims, hypotheses, and theories which have a common line of ideology. That the universe, that physics, needs nothing except what is already in the boundary of the cosmos. That nature is all what nature needs to do anything that nature does. We have a definition of science that considers any intervention from outside nature supernatural and hence unscientific. And when such an assertion has been made in science, the proposition of God suddenly became unscientific. So, for example, when Einstein was theorizing about the universe, and he had his cosmological constant that he could have selected a value that will predict that the universe has been like this and will remain like this, it's not expanding nor contracting, or select other values that will make it expand or contract with time. He chose the value that will make it a constant and eternal universe. But when Hubble did his experiments and found that the universe is indeed expanding, and then it was found that it's expanding in increasing acceleration, Einstein was disappointed. Because now the universe is not eternal. If it is expanding, then in the past it was smaller and smaller and smaller. And hence, if you keep the formulas running, the universe needs to start from zero. And when you have a volume of zero, it means that whatever is inside that volume is nil. So, how did the universe come from nil? Well, the natural answer will be God spawned the universe. But since this answer is unscientific, then you will have to give this point that it has infinite temperature and infinite density. And when you're asked how this infinite density of energy come into this point, there is no answer. And because this is not a good situation, you start building fantasies like multiverses, like hyperdimensional membranes that when they collide together, they cause big bangs, etc., etc., etc. What is the evidence for these mathematical models? Nil. Nothing. Zilch. But if it's not God, science will entertain you. And then the next question. Why would this infinitesimal point suddenly blow and cause the Big Bang? Well, it just does. And then you have the first evolution of something from nothing. And then when this point bangs, you have this huge explosion of energy. And then the next evolution happens. Space is created. Time starts. But even a more fantastic thing happens. Energy, pure energy, condenses into matter. Is this observable? No. Can somebody make it? No. Do we see it happening anywhere in the universe? No. When we do it, in CERN, for example, and cause for a photon to cause a positron-electron pair to happen and then self-annihilate. Is it stable? Nope. Why does it have to happen in inflation? Because the time where inflation happened does not have to obey the current laws of physics. Why? Because. Oh, really? Yes. And then after inflation, what happens? You have this huge amount of energy expanding into the universe, and you also have initial particles. Particles that are very simple. Single proton with a single electron. Hydrogen atoms. And what do you observe that gases do when they are left in a volume? What we observe is that they spread out. But guess what is theorized in cosmic evolution? That gas that is left free in an ever-expanding space and time condenses on its own. It condenses so much that its mass is so big, it has enormous gravitational force that causes hydrogen atoms to collapse on themselves to the point that nuclear fusion starts. Is this observable? Nope. When we put gas in a chamber, regardless how big it is, does it happen? Nope. When we heat gases to whatever degree of temperature and let it free, what does it happens to it? It expands. Why? In the universe, which is bigger, and the gas has more freedom, does it go the other direction? You're not allowed to ask this question. It just happens. Because. And then stars form. And then they die. And they cause material to spread in the universe. And planets form. And on planets, like Earth, chemical minerals that are not organic, on their own, form organic chemicals. How? They just do. Why? It just happened. Is it observable? If we bring minerals and put them in some water and leave them for how much time, and put whatever kind of sunshine on them, or heating on them, will they, on their own, form organic chemicals that are as complex as lipids, as carbohydrates, as nucleotides, formed in chains, like RNA and DNA? No. Why does it happen? It just happens. You're not supposed to ask this question. There is no proof. And then what? It will magically and miraculously form cell membranes, form DNA that makes sense, that has correct code. Alright? And then it starts replicating. Life comes magically into it. Is it acceptable that God breathed life and created the first cell? No, it's unscientific. How did it happen? We have no idea. It's completely, mathematically, chemically, physically. It's impossible. We talked about this in a previous episode. But guess what? When you eliminate the only possible solution, you are left with nothing. You have to accept that nothing brings something. You have to accept that stars form because gas collapses on its own. You have to accept that chemicals form organic chemistry on its own. You have to accept that organic chemicals come together on its own to form a cell. And then life happens. And then this cell, through complete randomness, through blind natural selection, will evolve into animals and plants. We discussed that this is mathematically and physically impossible before. And then you find a human being who has a soul, who has a mind, who has an intellect, who is watching this video, and you call this emergent consciousness. Life has emerged. An organism, 30 to 40 trillion cells are working together so that I am standing here and speaking to you and you're listening to me and you're understanding. It happens by chance, by random processes in natural selection. And science accepts this. Do you accept this? You can do your own research and verify that each single claim that science is making, that I have told you, is indeed a claim that science is making. Please do your research. Because what we're going to do in coming episodes is that we're going to drill and dig after each one of those assertions and show that this umbrella, this belief system that is called evolution, from nothing until we reach the human being, is totally false, unscientific, no evidence whatsoever, but even contradictory to observation and to laws of physics. I leave you with this thought. Please hang around. Share this with those you love. See you again soon.